Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're looking at a Reddit article titled, I, a 28-year-old female, am craving emotional intimacy from my boyfriend who is 27, but he is unable to give it to me. So we're going to go into a bit of a deep dive on this one. We're going to read it, and we're kind of going to explain, um, why this whole situation is messed up and why it's hilarious at the same time. But before we crack into it, guys, I want to say that there will be another video coming out in roughly 12 hours after this one is released. I just had to take it down because there were audio issues. Um, and yeah, let's crack into this one and see what she has to say. She says, I just want to feel loved, appreciated, wanted, anything like that. Even a compliment now and again would be nice. I'm craving it so badly, and it makes me feel so sad that the person I want it from won't give it to me. Now, guys, we're just gonna pause here, and I tell you guys all the time that women are essentially validation junkies. They are. They need it like plants need sunlight. It's the most crazy thing ever. And what I also say is that if you give women validation, they tend to want to seek it elsewhere. It's kind of like a resource that men have, and lots of men aren't even aware that they have it, right? So they give it out left and right. They'll give it to any girl that smiles at them. They'll validate her. But what men don't understand is that validation is it's a drug to them. It's a food, it's a sustenance. So you can't be giving it out if you want them to chase it. So what ends up happening basically is a woman will perceive you as valuable as it is difficult to get your validation. So if my validation is difficult to get, but another man's validation is very easy to get, I'm automatically above him. And the receptiveness to that particular dynamic is based on her, I would say her family dynamic. So the more the father is out of the picture, the more effective that becomes. Likewise, the more pretty the girl and the more chads she's been around to, the more effective that becomes as well. Those are like the two kind of dials that change how effective validation withdrawal is, right? But as a whole, women crave validation, period, even if their family structure is good, even if their dad's in their life, etc. So the ironic thing is you're going to see as we read through this is that she wants this validation and attention, and the people in the comments will say, "Oh, he's not giving you this and that. It's so immature." But the thing is, the only reason this woman is with him is because he doesn't give it. It's because he's not giving it to her. If he was giving it to her, she wouldn't be around at all. It's super interesting. Well, let's read the next paragraph and see what else she's got to say. Every time I bring it up, him not complimenting me and etc., and try to explain how I feel, he tells me that he's not that sort of person, that he finds it, quote, cringe, and that he's cold inside, and he doesn't know when he'll be able to give me what I want. So he's being super clear. He's not that sort of person. He's super clear that he's not the sort of person to validate people. Okay. She knows this information, and yet she's still here. She's still in the relationship. He doesn't tell me that he loves me. He doesn't tell me how he feels about me. Our whole relationship feels more platonic than anything. I mean, the thing is, you know, during this relationship, you've been intimate, no doubt. So it's not platonic, it's just emotionally platonic. You see, what's happening is he's not investing in you, so you perceive him as valuable and you'll give him anything he wants. That's how the relationship dynamic works. It's disgusting, but that's exactly how it works. So when men are out here throwing their commitment, their validation, any girl, that they're walking around surprised that they can't get a girlfriend because you're repulsing them by giving them what they quote unquote want. It's a really interesting situation. He tells me that he's more of a physically intimate person. The issue being that we're currently long distance and barely get to see each other because of restrictions. I have abandonment issues and I need to feel secure in a relationship, emotional intimacy also being a huge thing for me. Without it, I'm just in a constant state of anxiety and I can't stand it. Guys, look at this. What did I say earlier? I have abandonment issues and I need to feel secure in a relationship. In other words, my male parental figure was not around enough, so I need to get that validation elsewhere. That's the translation. And the more quote unquote valuable validation I can get, the better. And valuable means scarce. It's You see, the situation wouldn't have got this bad if her family structure was intact. If her family structure was intact, she would be able to resist this. But because it's not, because her dad's not in the picture, she can't. Because the dad's not there to teach her, and what I was watching another Chronic video, and I'll constantly bring up Chronic videos. But he was talking about how, look, if a family structure is together, what it subconsciously communicates to the child, the girl in this case, is that commitment. I should expect commitment from a man, from a high value man. See what I'm saying? So like, if the father is providing to the kid ever since she grows up, paying for lessons here and there, is always there for her, sort of thing. She's gonna grow up a lot more emotionally stable because her relationships are gonna be a lot more stable because she recognizes that, hey, I can get a man like this and everything's fine. Like this is what I'm entitled. I don't need to go and seek validation. Validation to me is regular validation. You see, girls like this are addicted to like crack validation. It's like the difference between like some very serious drugs and some not so serious drugs. It's kind of difficult to explain, but basically, if the family unit is together, her relationships will be a lot more stable. That's not to say she won't be attracted to lack of validation, um, but yeah, it just works out that way. So she has abandonment issues. Surprise, surprise. And I need to feel secure in a relationship. In other words, she needs validation. If she doesn't get it, she will be drawn to it. Whenever you guys see a sentence like this, or you hear someone say this, that's what it means. They just use the words differently. Emotional intimacy also being a huge thing for me. Without it, I'm just in a constant state of anxiety and I can't stand it. Yeah, because if he's not giving emotional intimacy, it suggests to her that he's interested in he's doing something else. She needs to get that attention back. Yeah. He cheated on me a few months ago because of lack of sexual intimacy, and I've really tried to work on it since. You see, because he's so valuable in her eyes, this becomes her fault. See how the emotions lead this situation? Because she wants this guy to validate her so much, she will instantly forgive this sort of thing. In fact, it only raises his value because it confirms the suspicion of being left, pardon. So, I'll say on this channel from time to time when we talk about cheating, a lot of times, cheating is terrible, but a lot of times it will raise a girl's attraction. I don't recommend doing it. I recommend just being honest with girls, like, hey, I date around. You're not the only girl I'm seeing. That's what I recommend doing because it's a lot more of a pain to try and lie and finesse a whole bunch of girls. Just tell them you're seeing other girls. But the thing is, cheating actually raises attraction because it shows that you're actually valuable to other girls. We as men, we don't really care about that. Like if we're dating a girl and we see that our, lots of other guys want her, we're like, of course. It doesn't make us any more attracted to her, but it makes girls more attracted to you. Which even in the context of cheating, it still works, which is very sad. It's just so sad to think about. But anyway, this part here is so interesting. I hate to say it, but I'm starting to understand why he cheated now, and I've started having thoughts about seeking the things I'm desperately craving for elsewhere. Now, this is the hilarious part because let's just say you validate. Okay, option one, you validate this girl, which means you're not attractive, and she will just not give you the time of day at all. If you validate a girl like this, she will not speak to you. That's option number one. Option number two, you don't validate her at all, and she'll still try and go somewhere else anyway. See that? Because it's all about the attention. It doesn't matter if you give. It doesn't matter if you give a validation. It doesn't matter if you don't give a validation. It doesn't matter if you balance it out. She's still going to seek what she's quote unquote craving somewhere else. Like I don't know what else to say. It's just the way it goes. But anyway, our relationship isn't bad. I'm just struggling without any sort of validation whilst we're apart. I'm always feeling like I'm asking for too much or that I'm expecting too much from him. I'd appreciate any advice or experiences on this subject. All right. Let's go down and like read a bit of what people have to say. You want the emotional part and he wants the physical part, but you are not giving it to each other, so just part ways. See, this person doesn't understand the fact that because she's not getting validation, that's why she's attracted. This person just doesn't understand that concept at all. People like this can't fathom why the relationship begins at all, but it's so clear why it begins. People like this just don't understand. Again, another one. Incompatible love styles. With one of you unwilling to go the extra mile. This is not for you. No, this kind of situation is exactly for... This is the exact kind of situation that she wants to be in. She wants to be in a situation where she's chasing validation and that she's not getting it. She could go into other situations where she got validation, but she's choosing not to. Guys, women are the selectors. They select their partners. Men don't select their partners unless you're like a celebrity, and even then you can make the case that, look, you've just got more girls selecting you. You can just make that case. Girls are the sexual selectors of the species. And here we go. This is one last one and we'll wrap up the video. But this person says, honestly, my ex was like this. He used to gaslight me all the time about why he couldn't be emotionally available or provide emotional intimacy. First, it was my ex-girlfriend beat all notions out of me. I'll try harder. When that didn't work at placating me and letting his crappy behavior slide, it became, my mum has cancer and I'm struggling. This is all I'm going to give you, so take it or leave it. When I grew tired of running around literally cleaning the house, cooking him food, taking care of his mother, and doing nothing but sitting there waiting for him to stop smoking himself dumb and be an active participant in his life and ours, it became, you don't create sexy energy that allows me to have intimacy with you. So, let me get this straight. This woman was with someone who treated her like crap and she ran around doing everything. 2 and 2 together, guys. Don't give women everything they want. That's the equation. There you go. But anyway, guys, I think we will leave it there. Again, there will be a video out in 12 hours. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video, and we will leave it there, guys. It has been Taylor the Fiend, boys. Peace.
It's the way that they made me so alive. Feel the pain that is blown deep over time. On my mind.